Hi, this is a preview of the Human Design Guidebook created by The Design of You, which is me, Leah McCloud. So, your guidebook is a personalized guide that goes through each part of your human design. And before I get into going through each of the pages, I wanted to just give a brief story of how these came to be. So, if you've been with me for a while now, when I first started my human design journey, I was just doing readings, and this was on the side of my corporate job. And I would spend hours prepping, getting ready for my sessions with people. And this was really when human design was a hobby for me. And it still is sort of a hobby, but it's turned into a business. But originally, I was doing friends and family members. And so I would put together this document that would go over their energy type and then their profile and just really the foundations of human design. And the response after I finished a reading was just an outpour of, I love these. These are so great. I always reference my, at the time, I just called it a chart summary or a reading summary. And I got to a point as I was working in my corporate job where it was very unsustainable for me to be able to do the amount of readings that I was being requested and also create these guidebooks, or at the time, your reading summaries. And so, as I was learning human design, and as I started to read more and more people, I was like, I should start selling these PDF documents. People love them. People are learning a lot from them without having to schedule a session with me. It sort of felt like a way to get what you need out of human design in my taste without having to figure out how to get on my calendar as I was working a corporate job and didn't really have a lot of time slots. So they started off very basic. They were just foundations. And then I moved into doing a more in depth version. I had someone request that they wanted more information around their incarnation cross and they wanted information around the variables in human design. They wanted to know a little bit deeper into the defined and undefined centers. And so I created this in depth version and it was very educational. It was very detailed and it took information about, if you've got this center colored in, this means this. And it was very educational. It was just very in depth of a lot of different things. And so what I realized with that is that the majority of people didn't care to know the technicality of how someone was a certain type. And so then I sold those for a long time. Some people loved them. Some people said it was a little bit indigestible. And so then I created the Human Design Guidebook. And now that I've been doing human design for a while, this is really an exploration into all parts of your human design at a deeper level that's digestible, practical, and will allow you to learn about all the different pieces. So let's dive into it. So, when you go to purchase your human design guidebook, you have the option of receiving it within 2 days or 7 days, depending on how soon you need it. Maybe you have a birthday coming up in just a couple days. So, basically, I just get the notification that I need to start working on this sooner rather than later. When you get your guidebook, it will be delivered to you via email personally from me, and you will have this front cover. This is the front page of the guidebook attached to it, and it will have your name here. When you get it, there's a letter of gratitude, and then it gets into what your human design chart looks like. So this is this person's chart. It will give you a table of all the information about your human design, and then we'll get into the contents. The contents include 4 different parts. So, part 1 includes the foundations, which goes over your energy type, your strategy authority, your alignment themes, your definition, and your profile. And in layman's terms, this is what those things mean. And then in part 2, it will go over your energy centers and all the different themes. And then in part 3, it goes over your gifts and purpose and how those gifts can show up through your channels and your gates, and then in your incarnation cross. And then in part 4, it covers the variables, which goes into your body and mind. And it talks about how you digest food and the environments that are most supportive for you. It dives into your perspective, which I like to look at through a manifesting lens, and then how you are motivated. And then this is a preview into all of these sections. So starting with part 1, your energy type. So this person's a manifester, and it gives you some insight into what that means, how they operate in relationships and career. It also gives you the strengths and weaknesses of your type and an energy check. It also will go into journal prompts, affirmations, famous people of your type, a mantra, some little notes here, and quick facts. And then included in part 1 is also your strategy, which is how you strategically bring in aligned opportunities. So in here, we go through the manifestor strategy and also give some tips on how that works, another energy check. Then it goes into your authority or your intuition, which will cover information about what that means and then some tips for that. And then you also will have an energy check. Then it will go into your alignment themes, and I offer a daily practice with the alignment themes. And then it goes into your definition, which is how you flow and work with others. And then we also, lastly, in part 1, go over your profile or personality, which will cover what that means, and then some journal prompts, what this looks like in real life, and then famous people who have that profile. And then in part 2, we will go through each of the energy centers, whether you have it undefined or defined. These are the shapes within your chart, and they tell you how you operate thematically in the world. And then part 3 goes over your gifts, so your purpose, which covers the gates and channels. So this is just an insight into all of these persons' different gates and their gifts. And we also went through some of the channels. And then there is a page dedicated to the incarnation cross, which goes over your life theme and purpose. And then finally, part 4 covers digestion. It goes over your environment. It goes over the manifesting style, your strongest sense, your motivation. And then finally, that is the conclusion of the personalized human design content. And then there's a workbook at the end, which offers a fun Mad Lib. It allows you to dig deep into the gifts. And then there's some journal pages. And that is finally it. So if you would love to purchase one of my personalized guidebooks for yourself or to gift a loved one or friend, please find the link in my bio or on my website or within this email, wherever you're seeing this video. I will get it to you within 2 or within 7 days. Know that there is always 10% off in the link in my bio, or if you subscribe to my newsletter. I am also always frequently running sales to get a percentage off the guidebooks as well, through different holidays and things as they come up. So stay tuned via email or Instagram for any other sales that will be available. But I cannot wait to dive into your chart and work with you. Please let me know if you have any questions. All right, bye.